What's going on, guys? Welcome back to W.D.Y.D CSP. What do you do as a central store processor? All right, guys, so this is my third attempt on trying to process a flexible ureteroscope. So I've already done this tray a couple times today, so I already know what's in the tray. So let's go ahead and take all our items out of there. So I'm taking my flexible scope out. I have a light cord in here. So let's take this light cord up. My fault. Gas cap first. Okay, my light cord. Okay, I'm supposed to have two scope adapters. I have the large one. I don't have the small one, so I'm gonna have to go find the small one. All right, so I don't have a silicone mat in here. I'm looking for residual moisture in there. I see a couple little drops in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab a towel and dry this tray out really good. Okay, I know this is low temperature, so no moisture and low temperature. Inspecting for any damage of the container and any bioburden or anything like that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and scan my tray so that I can get my count sheet up. All right. So let's go through now. I like to, before we start inspecting our instruments, first thing that goes in the container is a chemical indicator. We use type 4 indicators, one in the geometrical center of the tray. All right, I like to inspect all my small items before I inspect my flexible scope. So this, I always say, is the most underrated and least expected inspected item in the tray, the gas cap. Okay, it's a chain. Make sure you don't have no bioburden in there, and I'm not going to put that in the tray because I'm going to have to use that later. All right, inspecting my light cord, making sure I have the right number. And I do 3 tests on this, so 3 inspection points. I do a regular ambient room light or a little bit brighter light, right? Not ambient light, but I shine the light through there because I don't have a video tower to see if I have any burnt out fiber optics in there. And then I inspect the cord for any cleanliness and any nicks or cuts in there. Now I'm going through here, and right there I see something. I felt something first, and now I'm looking, and yep, I don't know if you guys can see in the camera, I do have a cut in the cord that goes all the way through to expose the fiber optics. So this cord is no good. I'm gonna have to find me a new cord. So, and this doesn't go out for repair. Unfortunately, that cord goes in the trash actually, and those cords are expensive, man. All right, let's continue inspecting here. So my scope adapter right there, checking the threads out on the lighted magnification. All right, and now let's inspect the exterior portion of the scope here. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and check out this distal tip there because there is a little glass portion on the very end, and it's gonna be hard to see under lighted magnification. That's not so powerful. Now I have 4 times lighted magnification, and then the little circle part of the magnifier is 10 times. So we're gonna look at that in angle, and I'm gonna check the bending portion of it, and check that distal tip for any cracks or tears. I'm gonna feel along the flexible portion of the scope. You want to look at the section that connects the flexible portion to the control body for any cracks and tears. Check the control body for any damages, cracks, any bioburden. You want to check the light post. You want to check the venting post. And this scope actually has a focus ring on it. So this isn't a video flexible scope. Is actually a fiber optic one that you can look through an eyepiece. So I use the smallest possible print that I can look at. And just like an endoscope, I go ahead and look, and then I use the focus ring to focus on that adapter. Now, of course, you don't want to use a moving target, right? So I got to stop my scanner from moving here because it doesn't help. There you go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and look, and what I'm looking for is any cloudiness, it's going to be a nice circular image, any cracks in that image, any blurriness, any leftover enzymatic or any detergent that might have baked onto the lens. I'm using a little control arm there to deflect my distal tip to make sure that it actually works and I don't feel no sticking or any rough portions. And then, as you've seen in the other video, you definitely want to check around that deflecting arm to make sure that there's no debris, any residual chemical, or anything like that. All right, check that eyepiece for any cracks or anything like that. I would have seen it when I inspected like that. So that's it, guys. That is my external inspection of my flexible scope. So now let's make sure it's clean. Let's check internally. Now, currently there are no video borescopes on the market that's small enough to go into this cystoscope. Okay, this cystoscope's channel is 1 millimeter. The smallest borescope, video borescope on the market right now is 1.08 millimeters, and it's not going to fit down there. Okay, that's what we currently have. Actually, I actually had to purchase a fiber optic borescope here, or fiber optic cable. I don't have this hooked up to a camera yet. That's in the works. So I have to use visual inspection there. I do have a little light source adapter on the end there. And unfortunately, when they make fiber optics this thin, they don't make them very long because they damage very easily. So you have to be real gentle with these. So unfortunately, this one isn't long enough to go the entire length of this scope. So I have to go in through the biopsy port slash flush port, and then turn the scope around and go through the distal tip to continue inspecting the entirety of the scope. So it looks good so far. Again, it doesn't have to be this slow motion process if you know what you're looking for. In the beginning, when you use a borescope, you're not going to know what to expect. You don't know what you're going to be looking at. You're going to have questions if you don't know what the inside of a scope looks like, or the inside of any channel looks like. You're gonna doubt it every single time. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that in the distal tip here. And again, as I feed that fiber optic cable in there, I'm looking for any damages internally, any bioburden, any broken off bristles, so forth and so forth, and even moisture. All right, because again, we're going into low temperature, so we don't want no moisture in there. I'm not going to be using an air gun. If I do find any moisture, I'm not going to use an air gun to blow out the moisture out of the scope, because again, you have to be careful when you're using compressed air or instrument air to blow out scopes, because there are specific PSIs that are required. If you use too high of a PSI, you're going to blow that scope. You're going to wind up lifting the Teflon out of there, the seals. You're going to damage that scope. So I wind up using a good old syringe and just flushing out as much moisture as I possibly can out of there. I do it a couple times if I see any moisture. All right, so this scope looks good. It wasn't nothing going on in there, nothing of concern. All right, next I'm going to, and that's the light cable, that my replaced light cable. I'm going to test my light cable. So I already did my physical test, the one that was broken, but I did this one as well that I didn't show on screen. But this is our light light cord tester. It gives us a red light if it's bad and a green light if it passes. So look at the green light on the top of the unit right there. It'll beep. Nice green light. Lets me know that that light cord is good to go. All right. So let's go back to the station here and let's pack all this up. So again, always grab your scope by the control body, and then also the flexible area. The flexible portion. Before you pack up any scope for sterilization, you have to put on this gas cap. I keep calling it a gas cap because that's what it's called, but it's a venting cap. Please make sure you put a venting cap on there. If you do not put the venting cap on prior to sterilization, you are going to blow the tip of that scope out. You're going to damage it, guaranteed. It's not going to make it. It's not an if or, oh, I'm lucky it didn't make it. It's not going to make it. It's going to blow the tip. You have to put that venting cap on there, whether it's steam sterilization or it is low temperature sterilization. That venting cap needs to be on there. All right, so you put it on, twist it, make sure it's on there secure. All right, secure your control body, secure your bending portion of your scope. Okay, I've already did the leisure of placing my indicator in there, and I have my light cord and all my little adapters. So this is what the tray looks like. Okay, the control body is secure. All right, the flexible portion of the scope, it's in its little holders. All right, not too tightly coiled, and the distal tip is straight and not deflected. Okay, that gas cap is on. That indicator is in the geometrical center as best as possible in that tray, not underneath any instrumentation or pinched, bend, anything like that. What I did not show on the video that is also important is inspect that lid. Okay, that lid can have bioburden as well, leftover chemical, enzymatic, whatever that may be. Inspect the lid for damages as well. Okay, this set did come with a count sheet, but because this is going into low temperature, I'm not going to include the count sheet inside of the tray or in the wrap. I'll show you where I'm going to place that at. So that the sterilization person acknowledges that there is a count sheet in there, and then after sterilization they can put it back where it was at. Now again, because this is low temperature, okay, we cannot use any absorbent liner, so they make these nice little foam liners here, okay, the place in the bottom of the tray there gives you a little bit of extra cushion to prevent holes in your wrapper. Okay, I again open up my tray to confirm that my indicator's in there and that all the items that I need are in that tray, right? Double, triple check your work. Okay, I'm using a 45 by 45 first wrap. Completely covers the entirety of the tray, making my tabs, guys. Look, I said this before and I'll continue saying it. Those tabs are important to the end users. Make sure you create tabs when you're folding, when you're wrapping trays, okay? I've seen so many technicians not do the tabs. That is a, ooh, put some tabs in there, right? All right, so final fold here. Okay, slapping everything down, forming my little triangle here. Okay, bringing everything over nice and snug, and I like to walk my ends out so that the entirety of the tray is covered. Okay. All right, and then my last fold on this tray, okay, is tucked under the first original two folds. I don't fold it on itself. I tuck it under the first original two folds so that when it's opened on the field, okay, acceptably presented, you pop that tab and the sides come up with it so that you don't inadvertently contaminate the tray while you're opening it. All right, so using the right type 1 indicators here. So for low temperature, okay. Okay, using more tape is not a good thing, all right? So the less amount of tape, the easier it is to open. Okay, here is my label to identify what is in that tray. Okay, we use a label on top and a label on the side. But before we do that, I secure that label on the top with the type 1 indicator tape. Okay, it is important not to cross your tapes, guys. All right, I see so many individuals cross tape. Okay, if the tape doesn't change, if you're crossing, it's going to create doubt. So it's best not to cross tape, guys. Okay, so this is the end product right here, guys. This is what it looks like. All right, guys. As always, stay true to yourselves. Keep it 100. Continue educating yourself. Until next time. Peace. You see where I put that count sheet at, right? All right, guys.